Now, there are synergies between South Africa and Mozambique's economies, which present opportunities to boost trade. This via the Maputo corridor, which can help businesses expand and thrive across the territories. Fausio Mussa, economist for Standard Bank Mozambique, joins us with a greater perspective on this. Thank you so much for your time. Now, just talk to us about the importance of this Maputo corridor that connects Maputo with Mpumalanga here in South Africa.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity. The corridor it touches quite a large number of businesses in both sides of the border. As you know, it connects Gauteng, mines, Mpumalanga, agricultural sector, and also connects the tourism sector in the two countries. On the Mozambican side, the main infrastructure is the Maputo port, which is managed by a private entity. And obviously there's quite a bit of infrastructure in this corridor. And the government on both sides, they've been targeting to have one single border and to make it easier for businesses to cross the border, reduce the time of inspection and stop at each of the borders. There is quite a long way to go still to improve, but there's a promising story developing there.
Well, I mean, just talk to me then about the primary goals of the Business Connect initiative here and how far it can go in boosting economic ties between South Africa and Mozambique.
Well, as you know, I'm part of the Standard Bank research team, so my role was really to focus on delivering a message around the economy on both countries and the outlook. And obviously, the Business Connect aims at making sure that our clients and the public in general is aware of the opportunities, is aware of the economic challenges, but is also quite familiar with the prospects of growth in both sides. I would only cover mostly the macroeconomic themes regarding the fiscal policy, monetary policy, growth prospects, and investment prospects as well.
Well, actually, I mean, just talking about those economic ties, because we know that there has been a global shift in, I guess, the economic situation, including high interest rates, inflation, geopolitical tensions. And I'm wondering if any of those, would have any bearing on the kind of economic ties that we are seeing between Mozambique and South Africa right now.
Definitely, yes. Both Mozambique and South Africa are not an island, so we are connected to the global economy. And obviously, high interest rate regime, possibly global growth decelerating, impacts on commodity prices, impacts on trade, and obviously the region could be affected if global growth deceleration is much stronger than what it is at the moment.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you know, the Maputo corridor and the Maputo port serves as an infrastructure to export minerals and agricultural products from South Africa. And also, there is imports of raw materials, not only to Mozambique, but for the neighboring countries as well. So global economy prospects are important for this region and for the corridor as well.
Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned a lot that obviously there's a lot of infrastructure between these two regions. What is the appetite in terms of investment into that infrastructure? Because obviously without, good infrastructure and good working infrastructure, we really can't use this corridor in the most efficient way.
Well, I would say that given the challenges we see on the fiscal side, especially in Mozambique, it's quite positive to know that, let's say 20 years ago, the port was privatized. And since then, we have seen investment growing into the port. I think it's nearly $1 billion invested already to make these ports very efficient and make it able to compete with the South African ports. So the private sector has played a very important role in driving infrastructure, not only in the port but also in the roads. There is very good road infrastructure connecting these both countries. But obviously, from an economic point of view, it's important that the corridor evolves to explore more the railway. It makes economic sense that the minerals do not are not exported through the roads, but actually using the railway is much more efficient. And I think that there is investment on both sides of the corridor to make sure that the railway starts to function at a more optimal level. At the moment, only very small quantities are being exported through the railway system.
Yeah. And I mean, just, talking about, trade between South Africa and Mozambique, does that lend itself to the broader effort of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area?
I think, yes. As you know, Mozambique has already informed the African Continental Trade Agreement about the tariff that Mozambique is going to apply. I think all the countries in the region are making an advance to participate on the Africa Trade Agreement. There are many areas that could benefit from it. The corridor, I think, provides a very good platform where businesses could exploit opportunities that each side of the border offers. For example, for certain crops, there is available land in Mozambique that private sector has already started to take advantage of it. South Africans crossing the border, establishing their business this side, but also there are many services moving out of Maputo and establishing themselves in Mpumalanga, and out of Mpumalanga serving the corridor, because obviously interest rates are much lower in South Africa, so cost of doing business it's more reduced on the South African side compared to the Mozambican side. But also there is a large informal trade going on between these two regions, and perhaps there is room for not only to make this business become more, I would say, more compliant, make them contribute to the fiscus and grow themselves to become the next SMEs, the next corporates of this region. So there's a lot to be done in many areas of this corridor.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and giving us some more insights on that. We will be keeping a close eye on the developments there. That was Standard Bank Mozambique's economist, Fausio Mussa.